to another episode of It's a Narrowboat Life, where we continue our journey down the Trent and Mersey, heading towards Nottingham, and we arrived at Fradley Junction. Beautiful little junction this on the Trent and Mersey, where you, if you wish to turn right off the junction, you can join the Coventry Canal. Amanda and I thought, well, we'd have a little look around. And
here we are in British Waterways Yard with Chris Bailey. He'll tell you about his experiences here as a young man.
My name's Chris Bailey. I work for British Waterways. Started as apprentice carpenter in 1976. Fradley Junction Yard itself has four main buildings. One was a chain store, which is now the cafe. Another one was a blacksmith shop. Another one was a carpenter shop, and the end garage was the lockgate manufacture workshop. I used to love to work in the carpenter shop in the summer, nice and cool, and in the blacksmith shop in the winter, because that kept us nice and warm. The courtyard was not a lot different than it is now, to be honest with you. The shape of the buildings are the same. Always in my recollection being like an island in the middle of the courtyard. On the walls there's always been the red fire bucket. One of the guys particularly, Ken Cook his name was, he was a carpenter. He always used to tell me about the apprentices having to stand in the buckets because they would protect your ankles and your shins, so you don't miss the piece of timber and wallop your shin with this very sharp instrument called an adze.
The building you see opposite, which belongs to Fradley Marine Services, covers a dry dock. When it was originally built, it just had a wooden canopy over it, and then it was open, and then in latter years the boatyard built a building over it. The dry dock was used mainly for the maintenance of boats. It's possible boats were built here. It's unusual, and it's a very shallow dry dock. The reason it's very low is the fact it drains by a siphon, which drains underneath the canal and joins the water system on the other side, underneath the Swan car park. In the attractive line of buildings facing the junction, there were originally two warehouses. One which constitutes part of the Swan Inn and is easily identifiable by the arches, and the other one to the left-hand end, which has been the base of a hire cruiser company and boatyard for certainly the last 30 years. The historic houses behind you, and they do date, according to maps we have, they do date from about 1820.
not the nicest of days today. We're leaving Fradley Junction. Come down two locks, middle lock. We're just going past the swamp up. How quickly things can change. We stopped off for some water, which took a long while to fill up. We've now got blue skies. There are a series of locks that take you down through Fradley Junction. And this was the last one, and it is Mandy working the windlass as we head down the very last lock of Fradley Junction and continuing our journey east along the Trent and Mersey. we eventually arrived in a very nice marina called Barton Turn Marina, and we had lots of facilities as well as the usual pubs, a few restaurants, lots of nice shops, and even a cinema.
Let's go.
We're just north of Barton Turn, and we're heading towards Barton upon Trent. And I thought this was a pretty little cottage here. A bit of an unusual lock landing. There's the lock landings there, and then you've got this little narrow bit, just enough for a wide beam boat. Narrow beam boat, what I'm talking about.
So continuing eastwards after this lock, we were heading towards our next little town called Willington. And we did get to enjoy some beautiful countryside heading towards Nottingham. So thank you for watching this episode. Join us next time when we will continue our journey as we are heading east on the Trent and Mersey towards Shardlow. And at Shardlow we have to make a decision in terms of which way we go. Pretty much we're going to start heading towards Leicester. So don't forget, you can follow us on Facebook. Please do give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date with our regular episodes. Until next time, bye bye.